Whenever I answer the phone, I'm like, hello.
What pissed you off?
It's a great argument to have.
I love my mom, but I think she's half crazy for doing that.
How dare you?
Do you work with your girlfriend, Mark? Or your wife, Mark?
I keep them separated. Sometimes I call people, they don't answer the phone. I'm like,
Wrong number, click.
Well, he's not that smart. Sometimes he sounds like he knows what he's doing.
yeah.
Go.
Therefore, you're an ass, and I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, but what do we know?
So I saw this thing that was talking about Tylenol, and it pretty much said Tylenol is pretty useless for most people. I don't know, like, if you're being a nurse or anything, you have anything.
I definitely watch Tylenol kick fevers out the fucking door, like, quick.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, all the time. Like, people come into the ER with a temp of, like, 102, give them 1,000 milligrams Tylenol, and, like, an hour and a half later, they're at, like, 98.
Are you sure it's not just like a placebo effect, or that's what would have happened an hour or two?
You know what? If it's the placebo effect, it's the greatest placebo effect ever.
I was going to say, there's something to be said about placebos, though, too.
See, so here's the thing I don't understand, though, in relation to Tylenol. So the body gets a fever. The point of the body getting a fever is because the body's kicking up its drive to go fight infection. It tries to get an environment that's hotter than normal to try to kill off some of this, like, bacteria or infection that's causing, and the body's working harder, sending all these, like, white blood cells in to fight.
Yeah.
And somehow it's through medical science, we've determined that this is what the body is doing because it's supposed to help fight the infection. So let's make sure we don't we take the fever away. And I don't understand that concept. It's because it's like natural progression of what's happening. And I get it. Maybe it gets out of hand. Like, I don't know the reason why fever is always bad, because the body's doing it for a reason. I don't get that part of it.
I don't either, actually. And especially because I'm the parent of a child who had febrile seizures when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So even those are terrifying. And if anybody listening doesn't know what those are, they're like seizures caused by young children, typically like 5 and under, spiking too high of a fever too fast. And their body literally just starts seizing. And that's sort of how their body deals with the temperature spike. So obviously, like, we were terrified, like, because this happened sort of in a scenario like just happened to me before we started recording here, where my wife had gone in to check on my son who had a cold or flu or whatever it was. And this is like 11 o'clock at night. We were getting ready to go to bed. She just happened to walk into his bedroom as he's seizing and, like, foaming at the mouth. And, like, it was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. But so this is all caused by this fever of like 105 or something. And we rush him to the hospital, this, that, and the other. They literally just get his fever down by sticking cold compresses under his arms. And they're like, well, just keep an eye on him and throw him in a cold bath, if this happens again. Or, I mean, literally, that was basically what they said. They're like, if he has another seizure, he doesn't even really need to come back. Just get the fever down. And it's like, huh. For all the medicine we like to give kids to keep fevers down, you've got a good point there. Like, why do we do it?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. And I get there can be a point where the body does get out of control, like 105, 106, when you're actually cooking, brain cells and things like that. I get it. But when people just hit like 101, do we really need to worry, or should we just let it run? Like, I don't know. It doesn't, that medically has never made sense to me.
Well, and another thing I'm not 100% clear on is if your child has a fever, even if it's very moderate, you're not supposed to take them to school or daycare. In fact, many places won't allow your child to come back unless they've been fever-free for 24 hours. So it's sort of like, people are so afraid of these fevers, even if they're super mild-mannered, when really isn't building up immunities to things kind of a good thing? Like, I understand the inconvenience of it,
Well, that's gonna get us back into the whole hand sanitizer debate. Like,
Well, that's true.
I mean, yeah. I completely am all for building up immunities. I think back in the day, and not that my parents had to do this because I actually got chicken
Chicken
pox. I got chicken pics, like this chicken just to send me some chicken pics. It was Julie was jealous and
Oh,
upset.
we know what you're trying to say, Jeff.
The chicken pox, I actually got them for my sister when I was like quite young, but the people who used to send their kids like to basically chicken pox parties, like one of the kids has chicken pox, put everybody together, get them all, get it out of the way. I'm for that. I think that's granted. Now there's a vaccine. Well, now there's a vaccine, so it's a little bit different. But before the vaccine came out, people were completely against that. The thing with chicken pox is it's so much more dangerous if you get it as an adult and you haven't had it as a child.
But I don't really understand that. Why is
I
it
think it's because your body hasn't built up an immunity and doesn't know how to fight it as well as a child's body when it's in its like building phase. It's learning phase, yeah.
So as far as I understand it, right? Because I had chicken pox when I was a kid. I had a very mild case, and then when I was like a teenager or young adult, I don't know, I had shingles. And
right, which is the same virus and everything, and it's like the second stage of it.
So
It's much more rare though.
Right, but if I had chicken pox when I'm like 30, wouldn't that just be the exact same thing as if I had chicken pox? I mean, had chicken pox earlier and then had shingles, like when it
they are slightly different. They're caused by like the same virus. Correct me if I'm wrong from a medical knowledge. I haven't seen shingles that often, but shingles follows like the dermatomes, right? It's the one that like goes around like the lines directly around on the dermatomes. Chickenpox doesn't do that, so it's obviously affecting it in a different way.
Well, as far as I understand, chickenpox basically is a virus that then sort of stays dormant in your nervous system, right? And that's why chickenpox follows those nerves in your body when they come out as shingles. So I guess it might be more localized to like particular areas when you get shingles, but I don't know. I think getting chickenpox at 6 is probably just as dangerous as 30, but maybe at the age of 6 your skin heals a lot better, so you're not going to be scarred for life. I don't know if it actually kills you.
So when I got chickenpox as a child, I literally started showing symptoms the day before Halloween, so I feel like I was scarred for life by that experience, missing Halloween. That was trauma.
Your parents just didn't give you a whole bunch of candy anyways?
Well, I wasn't allowed to go out, walk around and stuff.
I mean, maybe they could have. Maybe if your parents took you to the doctor, you could like to dress up for the doctor's office appointment at least.
No, that's like true. I don't remember if I went to the doctor. I feel like I had to have, but I don't really remember that.
Or they
feel like
could
lack of
without a costume.
Don't scare anybody though.
They could use
without a costume
and like hug everybody he met as well.
No, I mean, like, oh man, your face is just a great costume. You look pox.
I am chicken pox man. I'm the one sending chicken pics to Jeff.
Well, guys, this was a successful first short episode I think we had here.
Okay.
And we already went longer than 5 minutes, which we talked about as being a set goal, but not much longer. I think this was more like 7 or 8.
Well, and this was just more organic. This is talking.
I feel like every 5-minute show we ever do is going to turn way too organic. Right.
Well, I think that's what we sort of like need to make sure there's some kind of timer or some time limit. So, because I think we naturally, if it's like 10 minutes left and we can see the timer go down, we're like, oh, okay, we gotta make sure we don't keep reintroducing something new like we like to do all the time.
Although, ironically, when we started talking about this, I realized we had talked kind of off recording that I was going to sort of be like an official timekeeper type for this. And I left my phone upstairs. So I had nothing to keep time with. So I was literally just watching the clock in the upper right-hand corner. I mean, fortunately for us, like the 5-minute warning thing kicked on. So I was kind of able to monitor it that way. But I was totally unprepared for my one official duty.
So if we do the 5-minute timer thing, are we going to have like a safe word where like Mike will say something?
I absolutely need a safe word to shut this show down.
Like
Farfik Nugenheim. What?
something like that. Or if Mike can always just say like, "Oh, that's interesting," and that's obviously like
That's a cue
a
that I'm not
sign,
really
no
thinking.
matter what. But you can be like,
If
"Yeah, and I
Mi-
think we should kill all children." Oh yeah, that's interesting.
if Mike ever tells you, Mark, that he thinks what you just said was interesting, you know there's something secret
Something's
meaning
up.
there. That's
Right, right.
That's right. Well,
Or just
so
do
listeners, get ready for more episodes sort of like this in the future, twice a week now. And we're ironing out the details, but that's what's happening. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in a couple days.